residential construction job site where the subject is base coat stucco. When a stucco contractor is awarded a project, whether it's a 3-coat job or a 1-coat job, they have two choices when it comes to how they'll mix the stucco. There's the option of traditional field mix stucco, shoveling sand from a pile and breaking bags of cement into the mixer, or the option of factory pre-blended QUIKRETE stucco, where all the ingredients are pre-measured and pre-blended, so there's no wasted time shoveling sand. You just need to add water to the mixer. Typically, the most common reasons why contractors across North America choose pre-blended stucco over field mix is labor savings, convenience, and consistency, especially when pumping the material where every batch needs to be exactly the same. For some contractors, it's a matter of peace of mind, knowing that QUIKRETE pre-blended stucco is made to meet building codes, ASTM specifications, which is all validated by laboratory test reports and backed by a complete submittal package, provided by your QUIKRETE representative, referred to as technical support, something that doesn't come with field mix stucco. But there's another key factor that doesn't get as much attention as it should, and it's yield or coverage. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 square feet or 200,000 square feet. Stucco yield or coverage equals cost. Today, we're going to make batches of both field mix stucco and QUIKRETE pre-blended stucco to compare their yield and ultimately coverage and show the cost of the two different materials. Now, there's definitely obvious differences. So let's take a close technical look at the reasons why QUIKRETE pre-blended stucco products are not only cost-effective, they deliver consistency that increase a contractor's job site productivity and profitability.
All right, first things first. We made a small batch of material to coat the inside of the mixer, and then we made sure the mixer was completely emptied. This is to make certain that we're starting with a level playing field. We're going to start by making a double batch of field mix base coat stucco consisting of 2 80-pound bags of stucco concentrate and 40 shovels of sand. That's a typical double batch in markets throughout the country. Okay, first we added 2/3 of the mixing water. That's about 8 to 10 gallons. Then, using a cubic foot box, we added to the water exactly 40 shovels of mason sand. That amounts to 5 cubic feet of material. It's common practice that it takes between 7 to 8 full square tip shovels to fill 1 cubic foot box. Next, we added the 2 80-pound bags of stucco base coat concentrate. Now, because we're keeping track of the total amount of materials going into each batch of stucco, we measured each bag of concentrate. Each bag equaled 1.25 cubic feet, so a total of 2.5 cubic feet of concentrate or cementitious materials was added to the mixer. When all was said and done, our batch of field mix stucco included 5 cubic feet of sand plus 2.5 cubic feet of concentrate. Now that was a grand total of 7.5 cubic feet of materials that went into the mixer. Then the batch was thoroughly blended in the mixer for around 4 to 5 minutes to a consistency that's conducive to hand-applied stucco. Next, it's time to determine the yield of the batch. How many cubic feet of stucco does 7.5 cubic feet of raw materials produce? Well, we first emptied all the wet mix in the mixer into a wheelbarrow until the mixer was totally empty. Then, shovel by shovel, we filled the cubic foot box as many times as needed until all the material in the wheelbarrow was empty to give us the final count on the number of cubic feet yielded from the batch of stucco. The results? The batch of field mix stucco only produced 5.5 cubic feet of material, although a total of 7.5 cubic feet of material was added to the mixer. Now that's 2 cubic feet, or a 26% decrease in the volume of wet stucco lost due to the field mix method and using damp, loose sand. Let's apply this to a job site scenario. Considering a cubic foot of stucco can cover 16 square feet of wall at a 1/2 inch thickness, then a double batch of base coat stucco that yields 5.5 cubic feet will provide enough material to cover 88 square feet of wall. Now, I want you to remember that number, 88 square feet. Next up, we made a double batch of QUIKRETE Preblended Stucco by putting the same amount of material into the mixer, 7.5 cubic feet, to determine its yield. And we started by adding 2/3 of the mixing water to the mixer, about 8 to 10 gallons. Then our laborer began by emptying 80-pound bags of QUIKRETE Preblended Stucco into the cubic foot box until it was full. And then each box was dispensed into the mixer and carefully counted until a total of 7.5 cubic feet of material was added to the mixer. And once again, we let the batch mix for about 4 to 5 minutes until the consistency of the material matched that of the field mix stucco. Next up, we dispensed all the material in the mixer into the wheelbarrow until the mixer was completely and totally empty. And just like the batch of field mix, we filled the cubic foot box as many times as needed until the wheelbarrow was empty. To get a final count on the number of cubic feet produced from 7.5 cubic feet of QUIKRETE material. The outcome? 7.1 cubic feet of wet stucco. When you apply those figures to actual wall coverage, where 1 cubic foot of mix covers 16 square feet at 1/2 inch thickness, for every double batch mixed, QUIKRETE Preblended Stucco covers 113.6 square feet of wall, whereas a double batch of field mix stucco only, remember that number? Yeah, 88 square feet. That's 25.6 more square feet coverage per double batch. So think about it. Whether a project requires 1,000 or 200,000 square feet of base coat stucco, choosing QUIKRETE Preblended Stucco over field mix stucco saves you at least 25% less in material cost and another 20% in labor cost by eliminating the time wasted on shoveling that sand into the mixer.
To summarize, QUIKRETE Stucco yielded 1.6 cubic feet more, or 23% more material for the wall. Simply put, QUIKRETE Stucco yields more material, reduces labor costs, and it's consistent every batch. That's where you make money.